Hi, I'm John Chivers, and on the 18th of August 2017 I'll be undertaking what I believe is the first electric motorcycle trip from Land's End to John O'Groats and then to the very top of Shetland. The main leg of the journey from Land's End to John O'Groats will be done over 4 days. I'll be stopping 3 nights on the way, the final night stop at John O'Groats. For each of the 4 days of the main leg of the journey, I plan to ride in sections of 85 miles. And the first 2 days will consist of 3 85-mile stints, and the last 2 days will be 2 85-mile stints. There are several reasons why I'm doing this journey. Primary ones really are, it's the first time that anybody's done the journey from Land's End to John O'Groats on an electric motorcycle. And I plan to take it a bit further and go to the top of Shetland, because Shetland is after all part of the UK, and the most northerly part of the UK is on Shetland. I'm planning to raise some money for charity along the way. There will be opportunities while I'm stopping and charging to discuss electric vehicle development with people, make them aware really that electric motorcycles exist and that it is, albeit difficult, it is possible to make a trip such as the one I'm planning to do. I'm also hoping to meet up with certainly a couple of people along the journey who have interests in either alternative energies or electric vehicles themselves. I plan to document as much as I can of the journey. I will try to be active on social media as and when I can, notably when I'm stopped. Hopefully there'll be chances to do that. Electric motorcycles are still very much a niche product. There's not a big market for electric motorcycles, certainly in the UK at the moment. A lot of motorcyclists are basically cynical about motorcycles. Some of them like the sound of motorcycles, so obviously that's something it's not missing, but it's different on an electric motorcycle, so a lot of them are cynical in that respect. For me personally, I've been an electric car owner for 3 years. I own a Nissan Leaf. I've documented my experiences with that on YouTube to an extent, good and bad. And I've also done the same with this Zero DSR. I've owned a Zero DSR now for just over a year. June 2016 I took delivery of Zero DSR, and I've done quite a bit of travelling on it, but albeit local journeys. Now the range of the Zero DSR is around about 100 miles to a charge. This particular bike has a battery with a nominal 13 kilowatt hours. In actual fact, in terms of usable battery, I believe it's 11.3 kilowatt hours. They keep the top space, top part of the battery unobtainable in order to prolong the battery life, because it's best not to fully charge lithium-ion batteries if possible. One of the big differences between riding an electric motorcycle and driving an electric car is an electric motorcycle doesn't really have access to the rapid charging network that cars have access to. So doing this trip in an electric car would actually be fairly straightforward. Notably a Tesla would be very straightforward. A Nissan Leaf would take a little bit more planning, but it would still be doable. We're talking about vehicles where you can charge in minutes, up to 80%, 100% a bit longer. But fundamentally a rapid charge in an electric car is very quick. Unfortunately, electric motorcycles, certainly the zero range, don't have access to rapid charging infrastructure in that way. The usual charging time for a Zero DSR, this bike, is around about 9 hours from empty. Now, of course, the battery isn't often empty by the time you finish a journey, but it is around about 9 hours from empty. Now, and that's fine for me, because most of the journeys I do will be under 100 miles. If I do longer journeys than that, I use my petrol bike. The onboard charger with the bike is a standard, it's like a PC lead, kettle lead socket. So you can just plug in a standard lead, leave it overnight, and it will fully charge quite happily. And the onboard charger is 1.3 kilowatts. So 11.3 kilowatt hour battery charging at 1.3 kilowatts. It is possible to increase the speed of charging. There are manufacturer approved options such as their charge tank, which fits in this area here, which is currently given over to a bag. That's actually where the petrol tank would be on a normal bike. That's actually storage space. But you can replace that with a charge tank, and that certainly speeds up charging a bit, but it's not huge. It brings down the charging time to about 3 hours instead of 9. So we're still not talking the level of rapid charging available to cars through CHAdeMO charging, for instance, or indeed the Tesla supercharger network. For this journey, with the support of Street Bike in Halesowen, I've managed to borrow 4 external quick chargers from Zero in the Netherlands. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Street Bike and Zero for their kind help. The external chargers provide an extra 1 kilowatt of charging each. So you can plug either 1, 2 or 4 external chargers into the bike in addition to the standard onboard charger, adding an extra kilowatt per external charger. So plugging 4 in along with the onboard charger would provide 5.3 kilowatts of charging, 11.3 kilowatt hour battery. So you're talking about a couple of hours to charge the bike from empty to full. And that's going to make it much more a viable proposition to do this journey. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Street Bike very much for their support in this endeavour, and Zero in the Netherlands as well for lending me the fast chargers. I'd also like to thank EV Bits, who supplied a cable which will enable me to access public car charging points, normally Type 2 Menekes sockets, and possibly even private residences. If it comes to that, I may contact some people and ask if it's possible to use their car socket, as indeed I could at home. I ride an electric motorcycle because I'm a keen advocate of electric vehicles in general. I've been a Nissan Leaf driver for 3 years, and I'm a very keen motorcyclist. I'm a local observer for Institute of Advanced Motoring group in the area. That's Coventry and Warwickshire advanced motorcyclists. And as part of my role in that group, I do observed runs. So I'm helping prepare people to reach the standard of the advanced riding test. And lots of those rides they're well under 100 miles. So this is actually a perfect bike for those kind of rides. It's also a perfect bike for just, weekend ride outs. My other EV is a Nissan Leaf. It's a 2013 Nissan Leaf. That's the second generation Leaf, one of the second generation Leafs. I've had it for 3 years. Bought it pre-owned and been very happy with that. In fact, been down to Land's End with that car last summer. So I've kind of proven the point with that we can do longer journeys with that kind of car.